Albania. Albania is unofficially the Republic of Albania. Albanian is a country in Southeast Europe on the Adriatic and the Ionian Sea within the Mediterranean Sea. It shares land borders with Montenegro to the northwest, Kosovo to the northeast, North Macedonia to the east, Greece to the south, and maritime borders with Greece, Montenegro, and Italy to the west. Geographically, the country displays varied climatic, geological, hydrological and morphological conditions, defined in an area of 28,748 square kilometers, 11,100 square miles. It possesses remarkable diversity, with the landscape ranging from the snow-capped mountains in the Albanian Alps as well as the Korab, Skanderbeg, Pindus and Saraunian mountains to the hot and sunny coasts of the Albanian Adriatic and the Ionian Sea along the Mediterranean Sea. Historically, the country has been inhabited by numerous civilizations such as the Illyrians, Thracians, ancient Greeks, Romans, Byzantines, Venetians, and Ottomans. The Albanians established the autonomous Principality of Arbër in the 12th century. The Kingdom of Albania and the Principality of Albania formed between the 13th and 14th centuries. Prior to the Ottoman conquest of Albania in the 15th century, the Albanian resistance to Ottoman expansion into Europe led by Jerj Kastrioti Skanderbeg won them acclaim over most of Europe. Between the 18th and 19th centuries, Albanians gathered both spiritual and intellectual strength, which conclusively led to the Albanian Renaissance. After the defeat of the Ottomans in the Balkan Wars, the modern nation-state of Albania declared independence in 1912. In the 20th century, the Kingdom of Albania was invaded by Italy, which formed Greater Albania before becoming a protectorate of Nazi Germany. Enver Hoxha formed Communist Albania after the Second World War and launched the Albanians on a path of oppression and decades of isolation. The revolutions of 1991 concluded the fall of communism in Albania and eventually the establishment of the current Republic of Albania. Politically, the country is a unitary parliamentary constitutional republic and developing country with an upper-middle income economy dominated by the service sector, followed by manufacturing. It went through a process of transition, following the end of communism in 1990, from centralized planning to a market-based economy. Albania provides universal health care and free primary and secondary education to its citizens. The country is a member of the United Nations, World Bank, UNESCO, NATO, WTO, CO, OSCE and OIC. It is an official candidate for membership in the European Union. It is one of the founding members of the Energy Community, including the Organization of the Black Sea Economic Cooperation and Union for the Mediterranean. Etymology of Albania. The term Albania is the medieval Latin name of the country. It may be derived from the Illyrian tribe of Albani, Albanian, Albanet, recorded by Ptolemy, the geographer, and astronomer from Alexandria, who drafted a map in 150 AD which shows the city of Albanopolis located northeast of Durrës. The term may have a continuation in the name of a medieval settlement called Albanon or Arbanon, although it is not certain that this was the same place. In his history written in the 10th century, the Byzantine historian Michael Attaliates was the first to refer to Albanoi as having taken part in a revolt against Constantinople in 1043 and to the Arbanitae as subjects of the Duke of Dyrrhachium. During the Middle Ages, the Albanians called their country Arberi or Arbeni and referred to themselves as Arbëreshi or Arbeniche. Nowadays, Albanians call their country Shqipëri or Shqipëria. The words Shqipëri and Shqiptar are attested from 14th century onward, but it was only at the end of 17th and beginning of the early 18th centuries that the place name Shqipëria and the ethnic demonym Shqiptar gradually replaced Arberia and Arbëreshi amongst Albanian speakers. The two terms are popularly interpreted as Land of the Eagles and Children of the Eagles. History of Albania. The first attested traces of Neanderthal presence in the territory of Albania dates back to the Middle and Upper Paleolithic period and were discovered in Zar and at Mount Dat in the adjacent region of Tirana. Archaeological sites from this period include the Kamenika tumulus, Konispol cave and Pelumbas cave. The discovered objects in a cave near Zar include flint and jasper objects along with fossilized animal bones, while those discoveries at Mount Dat comprise bone and stone tools similar to those of the Aurignacian culture. They also demonstrate notable similarities with objects of the equivalent period found at Cervena Stijena in Montenegro and northwestern Greece. Multiple artifacts from the Iron and Bronze Ages near tumulus burials have been unearthed in central and southern Albania, which has a similar affinity with the sites in southwestern Macedonia and Lefkada. Archaeologists have come to the conclusion that these regions were inhabited from the middle of the 3rd millennium BC by Indo-European people who spoke a Proto-Greek language. Hence, a part of this historical population later moved to Mycenae around 1600 BC and properly established the Mycenaean civilization. Independence of Albania. Albania declared independence from the Ottoman Empire on the 28th of November 1912, accompanied by the establishment of the Senate and government by the Assembly of Law on the 4th of December 1912. Its sovereignty was recognized by the Conference of London. On the 29th of July 1913, the Treaty of London delineated the borders of the country and its neighbors, leaving many Albanians outside Albania, predominantly partitioned between Montenegro, Serbia, and Greece. Headquartered in Vlorë, the International Commission of Control was established on 15 October 1913 to take care of the administration of newly established Albania, until its own political institutions were in order. The International Gendarmerie was established as the first law enforcement agency of the Principality of Albania. In November, the first Gendarmerie members arrived in the country. Prince of Albania Wilhelm of Wied, Prince Wilhelm Vidi, was selected as the first prince of the Principality on 7 March. He arrived in the provisional capital of Durrës and started to organize his government, appointing Turhan Pasha Përmeti to form the first Albanian cabinet. In November 1913, the Albanian pro-Ottoman forces had offered the throne of Albania to the Ottoman war minister of Albanian origin, Ahmed Izzet Pasha. The pro-Ottoman peasants believed that the new regime was a tool of the 6 Christian great powers and local landowners, that owned half of the arable land. In February 1914, the Autonomous Republic of Northern Epirus was proclaimed in Gjirokastër by the local Greek population against incorporation to Albania. This initiative was short-lived, and in 1921 the southern provinces were incorporated into the Albanian Principality. Meanwhile, the revolt of Albanian peasants against the new Albanian regime erupted under the leadership of the group of Muslim clerics gathered around Esad Pasha Toptani, who proclaimed himself the savior of Albania and Islam. In order to gain support of the Merdita Catholic volunteers from the northern part of Albania, Prince Wied appointed their leader, Prenk Bib Doda, to be the foreign minister of the Principality of Albania. In May and June 1914, the International Gendarmerie was joined by Isa Boltini and his men, mostly from Kosovo, and northern Merdita Catholics, were defeated by the rebels who captured most of central Albania by the end of August 1914. The regime of Prince Wied collapsed, and he left the country on 3 September 1914. Geography of Albania. Albania is defined in an area of 28,748 square kilometers, 11,100 square miles, and located on the Balkan Peninsula in South and Southeast Europe. Its coastline faces the Adriatic Sea to the northwest and the Ionian Sea to the southwest along the Mediterranean Sea. The country of Albania lies mostly between latitudes 42 degrees and 39 degrees north, and longitudes 21 degrees and 19 degrees east. Its northernmost point is Vermash at 42 degrees 35 minutes 34 seconds northern latitude, the southernmost is Konespil at 39 degrees 40 minutes 0 seconds northern latitude, the westernmost point is Sazan at 19 degrees 16 minutes 50 seconds eastern longitude, and the easternmost point is Vernik at 21 degrees 1 minute 26 seconds eastern longitude. The highest point of Albania is Mount Korab at 2,764 meters (9,068.24 feet) above the Adriatic. The lowest point is the Adriatic and Ionian Sea at 0 meters (0.00 feet). The distance from the east to west is only 148 kilometers (92 miles), while from the north to south about 340 kilometers (211 miles). For a small country, much of Albania rises into mountains and hills that run in different directions across the length and breadth of the country. The most extensive mountain ranges are the Albanian Alps in the north, the Korab Mountains in the east, the Pindus Mountains in the southeast, the Saraunian Mountains in the southwest and the Skanderbeg Mountains in the center. Among the most remarkable features about the country is the presence of numerous important lakes. The Lake of Shkodër is the largest lake in southern Europe and located in the northwest. In the southeast rises the Lake of Ohrid that is one of the oldest continuously existing lakes in the world. Farther south extends the large and small Lake of Prespa, which are among the highest positioned lakes in the Balkans. Rivers rise mostly in the east of Albania and discharge into the Adriatic Sea but as well as into the Ionian Sea to a lesser extent. The longest river in the country, measured from its mouth to its source, is the Drin that starts at the confluence of its two headwaters, the Black and White Drin. Though of particular concern is the Vihose, which represents one of the last intact large river systems in Europe. Climate of Albania. The climate in the country is extremely variable and diverse owing to the differences in latitude, longitude and altitude. Albania experiences predominantly a Mediterranean and continental climate, with 4 distinct seasons. Defined by the Köppen classification, it accommodates 5 major climatic types ranging from Mediterranean and subtropical in the western half to oceanic, continental and subarctic in the eastern half of Albania. The warmest areas of the country are immediately placed along the Adriatic and Ionian Sea coasts. On the contrary, the coldest areas are positioned within the northern and eastern highlands. The mean monthly temperature ranges between -1 degree Celsius (30 degrees Fahrenheit) in winter to 21.8 degrees Celsius (71.2 degrees Fahrenheit) in summer. The highest temperature of 43.9 degrees Celsius (111.0 degrees Fahrenheit) was recorded in Kosovo on the 18th of July 1973. The lowest temperature of -29 degrees Celsius (-20 degrees Fahrenheit) was registered in the village of Stil, Librazhd on the 9th of January 2017. Rainfall naturally varies from season to season and from year to year. The country receives most of the precipitation in winter months and less in summer months. The average precipitation is about 1,485 mm (58.5 inches). The mean annual precipitation ranges between 600 mm (24 inches) and 3,000 mm (120 inches), depending on geographical location. The northwestern and southeastern highlands receive the intenser amount of precipitation, whilst the northeastern and southwestern highlands as well as the western lowlands the more limited amount. The Albanian Alps in the far north of the country are considered to be among the most humid regions of Europe, receiving at least 3,100 mm (122.0 in) of rain annually. An expedition from the University of Colorado discovered 4 glaciers within these mountains at a relatively low altitude of 2,000 meters (6,600 feet), which is almost virtually for such a southerly latitude. Snowfall occurs frequently in winter in the highlands of the country, particularly on the mountains in the north and east, including the Albanian Alps and Korab Mountains. Snow also falls on the coastal areas in the southwest almost every winter, such as in the Saraunian Mountains, where it can lie even beyond March. Politics and government. Albania is a parliamentary constitutional republic and sovereign state whose politics operate under a framework laid out in the constitution, wherein the president functions as the head of state and the prime minister as the head of government. The sovereignty is vested in the Albanian people and exercised by the Albanian people through their representatives or directly. The government is based on the separation and balancing of powers among the legislative, judiciary and executive. The legislative power is held by the parliament and is elected every 4 years by a system of party list proportional representation by the Albanian people on the basis of free, equal, universal and periodic suffrage by secret ballot. The civil law, codified and based on the Napoleonic Code, is divided between courts with regular civil and criminal jurisdiction and administrative courts. The judicial power is vested in the Supreme Court, Constitutional Court, Appeal Court and Administrative Court. Law enforcement in the country is primarily the responsibility of the Albanian police, the main and largest state law enforcement agency. It carries out nearly all general police duties including criminal investigation, patrol activity, traffic policing and border control. The executive power is exercised by the President and Prime Minister, whereby the power of the President is very limited. The President is the Commander-in-Chief of the military and the representative of the unity of the Albanian people. The tenure of the President depends on the confidence of the Parliament and is elected for a 5-year term by the Parliament by a majority of 3/5 of all its members. The Prime Minister, appointed by the President and approved by the Parliament, is authorized to constitute the Cabinet. The Cabinet is composed primarily of the Prime Minister inclusively its deputies and ministers. Military of Albania. The Albanian armed forces consist of land, air and naval forces and constitute the military and paramilitary forces of the country. They are led by a commander-in-chief under the supervision of the Ministry of Defense and by the President as the supreme commander during wartime. However, in times of peace, its powers are executed through the Prime Minister and the Defense Minister. The chief purpose of the armed forces of Albania is the defense of the independence, the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of the country, as well as the participation in humanitarian, combat, non-combat and peace support operations. Military service is voluntary since 2010 with the age of 19 being the legal minimum age for the duty. Albania has committed to increasing participation in multinational operations. Since the fall of communism, the country has participated in 6 international missions but participated in only one United Nations mission in Georgia sending 3 military observers. Since February 2008, Albania has participated officially in NATO's Operation Active Endeavour in the Mediterranean Sea. It was invited to join NATO on 3 April 2008, and it became a full member on 2 April 2009. Albania reduced the number of active troops from 65,000 in 1988 to 14,500 in 2009. The military now consists mainly of a small fleet of aircraft and sea vessels. In the 1990s, the country scrapped enormous amounts of obsolete hardware from China, such as tanks and SAM systems. Increasing the military budget was one of the most important conditions for NATO integration. Military spending has generally been low. As of 1996, military spending was an estimated 1.5% of the country's GDP, only to peak in 2009 at 2% and fall again to 1.5%. Economy of Albania. The transition from a socialist planned economy to a capitalist mixed economy in Albania has been largely successful. The country has a developing mixed economy classified by the World Bank as an upper-middle income economy. In 2016, it had the 4th lowest unemployment rate in the Balkans with an estimated value of 14.7%. Its largest trading partners are Italy, Greece, China, Spain, Kosovo, and the United States. The lek, AL, is the country's currency and is pegged at approximately 132.51 lek per euro. The cities of Tirana and Durrës constitute the economic and financial heart of Albania due to their high population, modern infrastructure and strategic geographical location. The country's most important infrastructure facilities take a course through both of the cities, connecting the north to the south as well as the west to the east. Among the largest companies are the petroleum Taci Oil, Albpetrol, Armo and Castrati, the mineral Albchrome, the cement Antia, the investment BALFIN Group and the technology Alb Telecom, Vodafone, Telecom Albania and others. In 2012, Albania's GDP per capita stood at 30% of the European Union average, while GDP (PPP) per capita was 35%. Albania was one of 3 countries in Europe to record economic growth in the first quarter of 2010 after the global financial crisis. The International Monetary Fund predicted a 2.6% growth for Albania in 2010 and 3.2% in 2011. According to the Forbes as of December 2016, the gross domestic product (GDP) was growing at 2.8%. The country had a trade balance of -9.7% and an unemployment rate of 14.7%. Foreign direct investment has increased significantly in recent years as the government has embarked on an ambitious program to improve the business climate through fiscal and legislative reforms. The economy is expected to expand in the near term, driven by a recovery in consumption and robust investments. Growth is projected to be 3.2% in 2016, 3.5% in 2017, and 3.8% in 2018. Culture in Albania. The flag of Albania is a red flag with a black double-headed eagle in the center. The red color symbolizes the bravery, strength and valor of the Albanian people and the black color appears as a symbol of freedom and heroism. The eagle has been used by Albanians since the Middle Ages, including the establishment of the Principality of Arbor, and by numerous noble ruling families such as the Castriati, Mazaka, Thopia and Dukagjini. Yerj Castriati Skenderbeu, who fought and began a rebellion against the Ottoman Empire which halted Ottoman advance into Europe for nearly 25 years, placed the double-headed eagle on his flag and seal. Sports in Albania. Albania participated in the Olympic Games in 1972 for the first time. The country made its Winter Olympic Games debut in 2006. Albania missed the next 4 games, 2 of them due to the 1980 and 1984 boycotts, but returned for the 1992 Games in Barcelona. Since then, Albania has participated in all games. Albania normally competes in events that include swimming, athletics, weightlifting, shooting and wrestling. The country has been represented by the National Olympic Committee of Albania since 1972. The nation has participated in the Mediterranean Games since the Games of 1987 in Syria. The Albanian athletes have won a total of 43, 8 gold, 17 silver, and 18 bronze medals from 1987 to 2013. Popular sports in Albania include football, weightlifting, basketball, volleyball, tennis, swimming, rugby, and gymnastics. Football is by far the most popular sport in Albania. It is governed by the Football Association of Albania, Albanian, Federata Shqiptare e Futbollit, FSHISH, which was created in 1930 and has membership in FIFA and UEFA. Football arrived in Albania early in the 20th century when the inhabitants of the northern city of Shkodër were surprised to see a strange game being played by students at a Christian mission. The Albania national football team, ranking 51st in the world in 2017, highest 22nd on the 22nd of August 2015, have won the 1946 Balkan Cup and the Malta Rothmans International Tournament 2000, but had never participated in any major UEFA or FIFA tournament, until UEFA Euro 2016, Albania's first ever appearance at the continental tournament and at a major men's football tournament. Albania scored their first ever goal in a major tournament and secured their first ever win in European Championship when they beat Romania by 1-0 in a UEFA Euro 2016 match on 19 June 2016. The most successful football clubs in the country are Skenderbeu, KF Tirana, Dinamo Tirana, Partizani and Vllaznia. Weightlifting is one of the most successful individual sport for the Albanians, with the national team winning medals at the European Weightlifting Championships and the rest international competitions. Albanian weightlifters have won a total of 16 medals at the European Championships, with one of them being gold, 7 silver, and 8 bronze. In the World Weightlifting Championships, the Albanian weightlifting team has won in 1972 a gold, in 2002 a silver and in 2011 a bronze medal. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, click on like button. If you want to watch more videos like this, click on the subscription button below. It's free subscription.